Hello everyone, Amadeus here, and today I'm with yet another video, and well, the topic is kind of unusual because usually whenever we make videos, I'm here with Daphne, by the way. Sorry I didn't introduce himself, but I don't think I have to.
I think they probably know me by now.
Yeah, that's pretty easy this way. So Daphne, they got out with me, and today we want to talk about something that kind of worries us and kind of concerns us. Even though we're living in Taiwan, we are still Europeans. Are you?
Pretty much, yeah.
From the island, but still Europe.
It's an island, but it's still part of Europe.
And the recent news are just frightening. What happens, as you probably know, it was basically 1 week ago when the Russian army invaded country next door, Ukraine, which is my neighbor. Poland has a very big historical connection, and we are very, very worried what's going on there. And since last 7 days, the things are getting more and more nasty. That includes genocide, that includes kids in kindergarten being shot by the Russian soldiers. And how do you feel about this thing?
Well, it's abhorrent. I mean, it's completely illegal, and it's an invasion that absolutely has no basis to it. And Russia has absolutely no claim to the Ukraine, no legal claim to it. And it has no support. I mean, every country in the world is essentially against this, apart from China probably.
Yeah.
But it's outrageous. It's outrageous.
Yeah, I think it's really scary because, 10 years ago I could go to Kiev and I was there on holidays.
It's essentially the worst attack on Europe since World War II.
Yeah.
And literally it could become World War III.
What happens is actually, I think, is that the Western diplomacy failed with the Russia, because people in the West, they were thinking, well, Russians are just like us as a population. They're nice people and they're bad people like in any other country. But the Russian politics, even after Cold War, everything seems to be changing, and the new states were appearing on the map of Europe every day for months. Actually, Russians keep preserving those ideas of building own empire. But what's the cost of building own empire is actually it's invading other countries. So the situation we see now is actually a result of this politics.
I think Russia sort of fell behind other countries in its development as well. Also, Russia is pretty much run by the oligarchs, a small elite group of people that own most of the wealth in Russia. But aside from that, the average daily life of Russians I don't think has improved vastly over 30 years since the breakup of the communist bloc. So I also think Putin feels that he's sort of let down Russia in some way, because Russia hasn't really made huge steps. If you look at a country like China, from opening up in '87 to now, basically every Chinese citizen's life has improved somewhat, but Russian citizens, their lives haven't really improved. Russia has kind of stagnated, and their economy also hasn't done as well as China, which is now like a world superpower, the second largest economy in the world. So I think also Putin's old. He's been in power for 20 years.
Yeah,
though
he's
he was
70 now.
Elected, he kept extending his term and then imprisoned his opponents.
Yeah.
And I think he's going for a mad land grab,
He wants to do something that he's gonna be memorable.
Yeah, just go out with a bang saying, we took the Ukraine.
Yeah, they restore the empire, we took the Ukraine, which is totally illegal, and it doesn't historically make any sense because Ukraine was country before Russia.
Yeah, but they're gonna pay for it financially. I mean, the ruble dropped 20 or 30% in one day, their currency, and they've been cancelled. Swift payments are not going to be allowed, no fly zones, they're going to be banned from any international event. We need to isolate them as much as possible, I think.
But the thing is, it's not a really big punishment for Putin, and he's keep doing it.
But I think also he's underestimated the will of the Ukrainian people, because maybe for Russian soldiers going to Ukraine for war, they perhaps don't want to be there, but for the Ukrainian people, they're literally fighting for their survival.
They have great morale.
They have morale, they're fighting for their country, for their family, and for their homeland. So people that have that in their hearts are going to fight harder than people that have just been sent there under a whim.
And we all hope actually Ukraine gonna defend themselves, because they're not only fighting for their own freedom, and they're not only fighting for their own country, they actually are extension of Europe and extension of the Western world.
The greater world.
And the Western world also includes Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan.
And here in Taiwan.
So that's why we support Ukraine. We hope you guys are gonna do it well, and I hope everybody in Taiwan is doing the same. And well, there's not too many ways to do it apart from, like checking the news, making sure everything's going well.
Media.
And this is not only, it's not only us checking the news, there is also country next door who's checking the news. And depending on the success or failure of this invasion, they're gonna plan their future steps accordingly. That's why we truly, support Ukraine in their actions. We hope they're gonna beat up the evil guy, because this is just crazy in 2022, and we don't want this kind of scenes in our continent. Many people asking why NATO soldiers won't just get into Ukraine and start this, but this would cause like super international
going
conflict.
to cause a huge conflict.
And on one side it would be like NATO with nuclear weapons versus crazy man in Kremlin with nuclear weapons.
Who's got nothing to lose?
Yeah, because he's 70, he doesn't care. He doesn't have he doesn't have family like you guys perhaps. He doesn't have kids to look at them and play with them in the park. He doesn't care. All he wants to do, he wants to be written in a book as a
great leader.
Yeah.
Stalin and then Putin.
The problem is that the propaganda in Russia, because actually people in Russia, either they support him or they
have no choice.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
Or they don't know what's going on, because lots of people who were sent to Ukraine, they were told, oh, you go to Ukraine, they're gonna bring flowers and welcome you here.
You're liberators, you're going to liberate the Ukrainians. Well, it's essentially a similar case.
It's like a 1984. It's a Ministry of Peace, which is basically Ministry of War. Once again, I want to support Ukraine and give them, our prayers, our good words, we hope you guys can make it, because we really believe in you. You can donate money to Ukrainian charities to help them fighting. You can stop buying products from China. By the way, do you know in 7-Eleven in Taiwan you can buy Snickers, like a chocolate bar from Russia? Whenever you see something with a barcode starting 4-6, it's a product from Russia. And whenever you buy it, some of your money goes to this bloodshed
war machine.
So you don't want to buy anything with 46 in front.
One last thing, I think all people have the right to live in a free and democratic state, and that people should have the right to choose how they live their lives, and to choose their leaders, and to choose what they read, and to choose what they do, and not to have it dictated by someone or have decisions forced upon them, especially not have a gun pointed at them and have their decisions made for them. So I always support democracy and freedom, and will stand on the side of democracy and freedom, because I think that's important for people, and that's how a society should progress. And that's how Taiwan has progressed into an open, free, democratic society. And we also hope that we can uphold these values here and not lose them.
I hope so. That's why I love Taiwan. That's why I choose to live in Taiwan, because it's a free, democratic country. Before I finish, I want you to remind, there is one poem. It's written by the German priest who was in Dachau, which is a Nazi camp, thinking he's gonna be dead one day because of that. First, they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I was not a socialist. Then I came out for unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't one of them. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. I think it's very important to know what's going on in this world, and have your own opinions about things going on the left and right. Because this way, if you're aware of the situation in Ukraine, you actually know what's going to happen later. And if Ukraine is fine, we're going to be fine here.
I think so.
So that would be nice. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Dafong's channel. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. See you. Bye-bye.